This is Jonathan Aggie of Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Napa. We're here in Istanbul for IBA Pro 7. Great setup. I think everyone's sort of said that. How you found your time here in Istanbul?
Yeah, it's wicked, man. The weather's amazing. The sun's killing my eye right now. The location where we're staying is great here at the Rixos. The view's amazing. The production, everything's great. I'm really happy to be here.
You're a manager, you know, with a lot of guys. What do you make of the concept of IBA? You know, it doesn't go on their records, so you might get the best fighting the best.
Yeah, I've actually had quite a lot of work. I've actually done quite a lot of work with the IBA. Quite a few of my fighters fight on their shows. I've got Oleksandr Usyk fighting in this show in the co-main event against the Armenian super lightweight.
That's tonight, right?
Yeah, it's tonight. So yeah, I'd just like to thank them again for the opportunity for Don Jenny. And yeah, I think the concept's cool because they want to get they've got quite a lot of guys that's got a wicked amateur record, and they want to test them against seasoned pros. And the pros probably don't want to fight guys that are like 4-0, 5-0 with 200 amateur fights, because they're thinking, I don't want to fight a guy I don't want to potentially lose to a guy with only a couple of wins, because it will mess up their record. So then you set up IBA Pro that's not linked to their professional record, and they roll the dice. So it's quite cool.
Tyson Fury was up there, and they asked him, like, could you come back for an IBA Pro fight? How would that work, do you think?
I'm not sure, but whatever it will take to make him and AJ fight, let's get it on. So if it's IBA, if it's Riyadh Season, whoever, get them two in the ring.
Before we get on to Chris Eubank and all the latest with that, tell us about the other guys you're working with. Brandon Glanton, Tabiti, give us updates on everyone.
Yeah, Tabiti just won a WBC Africa Bridgeweight title in Ghana. So I just want to pick up Legacy, Rise and American Promotions for that. And he's number one with the WBC now, so we're waiting to see what happens with Kevin Lorena and Lawrence Okoli. And then if Lorena's not coming back to Bridgeweight, then Andrew would like to fight for a vacant title. If not, he wants to fight Lorena. Brandon Glanton told me he doesn't care which cruiserweight it is, get him in the ring with any cruiserweight in the world. I mean, I wish every fighter had the mindset of like Brandon. So yeah, hopefully Brandon will come back and fight Chev Clark, Isaac Chamberlain, Jack Massey, any of them guys. Who else is there? I've got Rene Teles-Giron trying to get a fight with him and Albert Bell in the USA, so we'll see how that gets on. I've just signed Blair Cobbs. I would love to get Blair in a fight with Echo Usman, Josh Taylor, Conor Walker, any of them. So yeah, that would be cool. Troy Williamson's going to fight for a domestic title. I can't say against who right now because I can't be the first one to announce it, but yeah, Troy's going to be fighting in Newcastle soon. I can't think what else there is to report, but yeah.
Cool, so very busy right now. Obviously it was confirmed the other day that Eubank and Benn will rematch September 20th. No location yet, but somewhere in London. Yeah, what do you think of that, getting over the line?
I didn't know that it was going to get announced, but yeah. I didn't know it was getting announced. I spoke to Eddie about it when we heard about it, because Chris didn't know it was going to get announced. But obviously we have signed a 2-fight deal, so we know we're going to fight again. We just didn't know they were going to announce it. But look, September 20, September 27, August, October, November, December, whatever, Chris is ready to roll and can't wait to give the public another night of explosive performance.
So people asking, like, are the terms the same? Is the weight the same? Rehydration? What can you tell us?
Can't tell you all of that, brother. Listen, we've got lawyers leading the negotiations of that at the moment. All I can say is that Nova Sport is our job to do the best for Chris. Yes, Chris did the rehydration the first time because Turkey and Chris spoke directly, but we'll do our best to negotiate a deal that makes a lot of sense for Chris.
And to be clear, he is still with Boxer. There was comments from Eddie the other day saying he wasn't sure if he was on the contract, but yeah, I think you guys actually put out a statement.
So if you ask me, does Chris have a promoter, I'm going to tell you no. If you ask me what's the relationship between Chris and Boxer, we are in a partnership, and since day one till now it's been going great, and it's still going great. So a partnership is not a promotional deal. So of course, if I say Chris does not have a promoter, it doesn't mean he doesn't have a partnership with Boxer.
Right.
But the main thing is that Chris is the decision maker of his career as well as Nova Sport, so we have the last say on anything that happens in his career regarding boxing, and our partner on that journey is Boxer.
And tell us about how Chris is feeling. Obviously we know that both him and Ben went to hospital after the fight, so obviously there's concern, for both guys going into a rematch, but you're confident that he's had enough time to recover mentally, physically?
He was just dehydrated after the fight, but when it's time to fight, he'll be ready to rock and roll.
We've got the big heavyweight undisputed fight in a couple of weeks, Usyk and Dubois. Who are you leaning towards in this one?
Listen, Daniel Dubois is on probably the best form any heavyweight's been in recent years, but I have learned enough lessons. I've lost enough money betting against Usyk, and I've told myself I will never do it again. I lost money betting against AJ, but maybe I'm a bit biased because I've got so much love for the guy, and I lost money when he fought Tyson Fury. So I lost money when he fought Gassiev. I lost money when he fought Brader. So I give up. I don't.
You just gotta stop betting.
Yeah, I don't go against Usyk no more. The guy's a phenomenon. He's a all-time great already, and you got to put him up there with the likes of Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. He definitely put Usyk's names with. I definitely put his names with those guys.
Canelo and Crawford.
I want Canelo to win because that's the fight we want for Crawford next year. Bomac, I love you. Got so much respect for you, but unfortunately,
that is the fight you want for Chris, right?
Yeah. So outside of Team Eubank, Crawford's team is the team that I personally like the most. I'm friends with the whole squad, even Steve Nelson. But for Chris, we need Canelo to win because that's the biggest fight for Chris outside of Conor Benn. So hopefully Canelo wins without Crawford taking too much damage. He's a father of 7 kids. So we want Canelo to win, and then after that we fight Canelo next year. But listen, Crawford is an unbelievably skilled fighter. We know how good Bomac is. We know that they're going to come with an amazing game plan. It potentially going to be one of the hardest fights of Canelo's career. He shouldn't underestimate the guy, even though he's come from welterweight. Marvin Hagler made a mistake underestimating. Well, I presume he underestimated Sugar Ray Leonard because he had never fought at middleweight going into that fight. You can't underestimate Crawford. But biasly, I want Canelo to win so we can fight Canelo next year.
Yeah, fair enough. That would be a huge fight, probably in the UK as well. Finally, Itauma against Whyte. How do you see that one going?
I think Moses will win just because of youth, his explosiveness, he's super skilled, amazing feints. He's got power on the front foot, back foot, and I think inactivity might hinder Dillian Whyte. If you ask me, Dillian Whyte at his ultimate best against Moses Itauma, maybe it'll be too early for Moses right now, but is Dillian Whyte at his peak? Like, is it the Dillian Whyte that knocked out Lucas Brown and Chisora and Joseph Parker? We're yet to see. If that version of Dillian Whyte turns up, then hell yeah, but I haven't seen that version of him for a while, so let's see. But look, I'm cool with them both. I've known Dillian for longer, but if I give an honest opinion, if I had to put if my house is on the line, I'd say Moses Itauma.
Cool. Napa, appreciate your time. Follow him up at Napa Fitness on Instagram, and speak to you soon.
Big up.